Okay, let's start the meeting with roll call. I need a motion to excuse Commissioner Matsuda, Chair Matsuda.
Motion to excuse Chair Matsuda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Kyo, we need your input on that.
Aye.
Thank you.
Any nays?
Mhm.
The motion is accepted. We need a motion to excuse Commissioner Onat from the meeting.
And I move to excuse Commissioner Onat and Commissioner May Folden.
I'll second it.
Anybody in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner. Oh, Pearson.
Hey.
Hi, Priya. We're just doing roll call, so Commissioner Akio,
Here.
Commissioner May Folden,
Hi, I'm here.
Commissioner Peterson,
Here.
and Vice Chair Courtney is here. And do we do these things?
Just no me.
All right. Oh, and Commissioner Francisco.
Yes, here.
Sorry, I'm to the bottom of the list.
Public comment in writing
Okay. From
from Emily.
yeah.
I have a public comment
All right.
that was written.
Now, do we just review, each of us review that in private or do you read that? Okay, you want me to read it?
For sure.
No, you read it.
Okay.
Is there public comments?
All right. So hello, and thank you for letting me share today. My name is Emily Francisco. Well, I'm her mom. And I'm a Girl Scout working on my senior journey project called Girltopia. For my final step, I wanted to create something that helps imagine a better world for girls and women. Since March is Women's History Month, I'd like to propose a community event here in Mountlake Terrace. The idea is to host a screening of Girl Rising, a documentary that tells powerful true stories of girls from around the world and shows how the access to education can change lives. After the film, some youth leaders like myself would guide a short discussion. We could also invite community to contribute to a wall of inspiration where people write down the names of women who inspire them. Local partners like the library and schools and Girl Scouts could share resources of ways to get involved. The event would celebrate Women's History Month, encourage conversations across generations, and highlight Mountlake Terrace's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you for considering this idea. I'd love to help make it happen together.
Do you have any other public comments? Anyone online or any patterns? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the August 2025 meeting?
I'll approve to I'll motion to approve the minutes for the August meeting.
Second?
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Nobody opposing, so we will adopt the minutes from the August 2025 meeting. And so now we're gonna have our city council liaison report from Councilmember Murray.
Thank you, appreciate it, Vice Chair. Nice to see all of you. First of all, I guess I would just love to commend this group and particularly those who were at our last council meeting to present on the diversity, equity, and inclusion strategic plan. I thought that went really well and seemed to be very well received, and so just want to applaud you for all of the work that's gone into that thus far, and encourage you. And I know you've talked about kind of this comment period, but I think that's an important thing. And I know an important thing for the council is hearing public feedback. So I know there's been lots of engagement throughout the process. And I think it's still helpful to encourage people to weigh in, you know, whether that's specific feedback or just general feedback. If they're generally supportive of the plan, I think that's also helpful to hear. So I think Carolyn's got that on her list of things, but I will just, I guess, make that reinforce that I think that that's important. Stuff coming up. So we have a council meeting tomorrow night. And we've got good stuff going on. We have a public hearing, so I think important, always that we try to get the word out on those. So we are voting on an ordinance to adopt an urban forest management plan. That is something that if you are interested in learning more, there's both, we had a preview of that at our last meeting, as well as there are materials online for the meeting tomorrow night, and the hearing tomorrow night. We are having a presentation on public safety costs. So those are costs that have, and when we say public safety, that can mean a lot of different things. And this is public safety, particularly in terms of law enforcement, court costs, and jail services. And so those are costs that have gone up exponentially. I think Mayor Pro Tem Wall had requested to better understand kind of what that looked like. And so we have some information coming on that to better understand that. That's the big stuff for this coming meeting. Art show, as you guys know, starts on Saturday as well as welcoming week. So I think just encouraging folks to show up for that. Last I heard, they were looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in sitting over at the library, typically volunteer shifts are like 2 hours, if I'm recalling correctly. And it's kind of fun. It's usually like making sure people sign in when they come, because we're always interested to know how many people have attended and where they're coming from. We usually ask for like a zip code. And then, there's also the opportunity to potentially just kind of make sure that people, are kind of going through the entire space. And if they have questions, helping support them there. And then it's a juried art show. So there's also the opportunity to purchase artwork, but usually the art commissioners are there to help with that stuff. So would encourage you to attend if you can. And if you're interested in volunteering, Connor Ryan is the chair, and if you need any help connecting in with that group, happy to do that connection. On the 25th, the plan is to bring back some conversation about next steps on the flock safety tool that you guys have been engaged in conversation around. I think one of the important things, I know you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, but staff has been working on putting together some documents based on council direction. And one of them is a community values document. And I think, probably interesting, and it's not online yet, but we can send it over to you. Maybe interesting to take a look at all of those from your guys' perspective, but I think the one I wanted to make sure that I called out and would welcome your perspectives on, particularly, and actually would ask for your perspectives on particularly, is in the resolution around community values. There's 2 directions that staff have drafted language around in terms of oversight of that, the tool that we approved. One of them is a subcommittee within within the DEI commission, and one of them is kind of a reformation of a community police advisory board that used to exist. And so council hasn't talked a lot about the DEI subcommittee piece, at least not in open session. There has been some interest in the reformation of this police advisory commission. And there's language around both of those, and I assume there will be some additional conversation and direction from council about path forward. So if you guys have additional thoughts, I know you've shared some of those previously, and I'm happy to bring those back to council. But if you have additional thoughts, would welcome hearing those here and or after you've had a chance to digest it a little bit, but before the 25th. The only other thing I wanted to make sure that I mentioned, or maybe invite all of you to think about is, and this isn't officially a council thing, but it's something I do every year, and I encourage the council to join me. So there is an event called the Week Without Driving. And so it's an event that happens this year between September 29th and October 5th. And it started here in Washington, I think 5 years ago. And it was originally driven by a disability rights organization here in Washington, and has really spread to be a national event that has partners in all 50 states. But really the idea is to encourage folks to navigate their worlds without driving. Recognizing that many folks in our community, upwards of almost a third in a lot of communities, do not drive, and that can be for all sorts of reasons. That can be because they're not old enough to drive or don't have a driver's license. That could be, I think they've webinar I went to recently had a stat from AARP that like most of us will have 5 to 10 years later in life where we aren't driving. So particularly as our communities age, we're going to have more and more non-drivers. And that folks with disabilities, oftentimes there are disabilities that don't allow folks to drive. And so it's really just trying to help for those of us that do drive, and that is our default, helping us to better understand those in our community who don't, particularly when we are in positions of being able to make decisions about transportation systems, etc. So I think it's a really neat opportunity. I've done it every year for the last 5 years, and I learn something new every year about our community. And sometimes it's really basic, like year one it was like how many folks had their like garbage bins on the sidewalk and how challenging that made just basic walking along the sidewalk. And we did some good work around educating folks about where their garbage bins should be. So sometimes the solutions can be really simple and it's just about like recognizing them and elevating them. And sometimes they're much bigger, conversations about infrastructure investments and that sort of thing that are, not tomorrow's solutions, but definitely important, I think, for us to understand long term. So I always say it's a good learning opportunity, like even if you can do it for a day, just to think about like how you would navigate your life differently if you were to plan without using a vehicle. And so anyway, if anyone's interested, I'm happy to share more information and I would love company. My kids, I was gonna say, my kids would probably appreciate company. It is not their favorite week of the year because it is more challenging and we have to make decisions about where we go and where we don't go. And we have to plan a lot more intentionally in our lives, which is, I think, probably one of the biggest takeaways is just how much planning is involved when you don't have a vehicle. You can't just hop it in to drive somewhere. So anyhow, that's all I have. So thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to share. And yes.
Okay, and we'll move on to Carolyn.
All right, we're here to talk about community engagement and events. Janine, would you like to summarize the meeting?
So we met with our Indigenous parent group with the Edmonds School District, and the Mountlake Terrace High School principal joined as well. And we discussed having a proclamation scheduled for next week at the council work session for Every Child Matters Day. We talked about how the language might be adapted from a presentation that the students created to present to local school district school boards. And so they're sending that over. And then we talked about having a partnership for a showing of Sugarcane, which is a documentary about boarding schools. It's based in Canada, but we had boarding schools here in Washington State until the 1980s. And continuing our collaborative work of having a community conversation with elders and the students participating in the event with us, having activities planned for younger participants or folks who join that need a break from the intense documentary. There's some big feelings. It's done very well, but it sits with discomfort, and that is hard to do.
Well, you can be well here. Got it. Any questions on Q or Bria about that?
I'm okay.
Thanks.
Nope, nothing from me. Thank you.
Right. So we're gonna meet with the group again on Monday, the 29th at 6:30. So, here, yeah. We just had 3 of us here today. If anyone else is interested in joining, just let me know and I will notice it as a potential quorum. Which is not a big deal, just need to know ahead of time. Welcoming week is this weekend. All right, we've had a couple groups drawn up, but we still have about 20 partners coming. Hoping we can all just do your non-name dance and like. Maybe we'll start now, but, and then Karan and Kyo are gonna be our star performers. We have a couple other folks that Karan has, convinced to come as well, so we'll probably have about 30 minutes. Singing, music, and, believe it dance. So, I think everyone's signed up to volunteer, and if there's any other folks that you can able to come to set up or break down, please let me know. It'd be great to have a few more hands, especially for the tear down. I think we have fewer people on the tear down. I'm working on some activities for our booth. So since we have the diversity, equity, and inclusion strategic plan out for comment, I was thinking of having a poster where people could kind of check like the questions in the survey, which are the action plan items. But also have the QR code so they can go home and like read the plan and have more context. And also we can be advertising for community ambassadors and community conversations. So there's a few things that we can be talking about, but I also was planning to bring some games and some fun things for people to do. So we'll be right next to the performance stage, so we'll have a little extra room. Where we might be able to do like chalk or some other things. So if you have any ideas for that, yeah. Any questions about welcoming? Community conversations, we have confirmed a date with the senior center for October 2nd in the morning, and we have enough people to facilitate. Mostly staff this time with Benita, I believe. So we have 5 people who have volunteered, which I think will be great. We're gonna do it in the little, I think it's called the Greek Center room where they have the lunch. So it's a little bit tight, but I think it'll be fine. And then we're advertising it at all the assisted living. There's 3 assisted living places in town. And we'll do some press, but encouraging people 65 and older to attend. So that's the other show, I have an email about it too, so. Staff finalized, but if there are other needs people have, let's chat.
I did have a thought. You know, there's all this talk about what to do with the, you know, the pool and the, activity center. Could we do one that's centered around that subject?
Oh, could we do it during, people don't show up to register for swim lessons, right? They do it online now.
Yeah.
There used to be the line out the pool, outside, and that would be a great time to have a community conversation once you've gotten your scheduled swim lessons.
But I know they've got those little rooms
Mhm.
in the rec center that are, because my grandkids have had birthday parties there.
Yeah.
And, but I just thought it, because I'm sure people have things they want to say about that, and
Yes. I think we're not ready to have that conversation.
well, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it could be pushed out to some other thing, but I just think it might be.
I don't know.
It might be a nice place to have a community.
You want it, yes.
It might be a nice time to have a community conversation with like the to focus on the preschool families
Well, then, yeah, it's true.
and have it be one of our traditional community conversations because it will build bridges for when the time comes to have those difficult conversations about finances.
Yeah, I just thought it would be a good to loop in there somehow,
Mhm.
because that's gonna be a challenge. I hope.
And then if we could have a little flyer go home with all the kids when they get their swim results, just staple or on the backside, have the little meeting, save the date, come and share your thoughts with all of those actively engaged parents because they're going to look at their kids' swim scores, swim evaluations.
That's good. Yeah. The aquatics piece, just so you know, I would say it wouldn't really be a community conversation, it would be a meeting about the recreation development.
Right.
And probably wouldn't get to talk about all the other things. But yes, there will be opportunities to talk about that, and the first one will be related to the fiscal sustainability task force, because in the budget strategies, I can tell you there's several related to that. So we also are meeting with some of our neighboring cities and the counties to
They're
talk
doing a
about
collaboration.
partnerships, and I don't see clarity yet, but there's definitely conversations. So, yes, we need discussions about.
But I like Benita's idea about, you know, the preschool.
Yeah, I
community
think-
or even the swim community or something,
Right.
and do just our regular community
Mhm.
conversation.
Because we've struggled to get engaged parents
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
times.
Andrew and I have talked a little bit about, they have occasionally these like date nights where the parents can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
kids
yeah.
on,
Yeah.
and maybe like an hour, we do it for an extra bit of time and. Or maybe it's a different night, but like
Mhm.
a similar thing.
You get a
that we-
discount. If you come to this, you get,
The kids get to our sitting. or whatever.
yeah, you get a discount code for a future night out.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, yeah, I think both of those ideas are, yes, great. We just met the principal at the high school, he seemed interested, so
Yes.
how do we move forward on that?
So, the principal was assistant principal at a middle school, I think Meadowdale or Alderwood.
I think it was Meadowdale.
Thank you. And so he's acclimating to high school and the full principal role. He's been in the job for since the third week of August, so almost a month. So
He needs a little space.
a little bit, but also not too much. So I will follow up with him by curriculum night, which I think is October 9th.
Okay.
So yeah, or I'll have Chris follow up with him on curriculum night. Or next time he calls me to ask about Emily's schedule again, then I will invite him to the next thing.
Any other weeks?
New Song Church did not come to the Cops and Clergy.
Oh,
And so I have not, they redid their parking lot.
We didn't really have very much outside clergy.
No, we didn't. We had Support 7. But it was on my list. I was looking for other people to come so that I could invite them to do a community conversation. My little burb Finch reminded me that day that we had the
Yeah.
meeting and that nobody else came. So
I'm sort of wondering about. And I think that Sergeant Porter has mentioned that maybe it's like fewer and fewer churches coming, it's kind of out of the support center. Oops.
Mhm.
So I'm just curious about. How to re-engage with the different places of worship.
Mhm. I wonder if I had a thought after Sergeant Porter mentioned that is Detective Sergeant Arnett and Linwood does a presentation about how to protect your children, advice from child molesters. And so she does a presentation and it's talking, she has support people that come and present as well with her, but it is aimed towards parents, but also clergy, faith-based organizations, because there's this a fine line between we invite people who are downtrodden and looking for help, and also we need to protect all of our kids and each other. And so it encourages community faith-based groups. I attended one of them 2 years ago. And so I was going to mention that to him about having that come out, because inviting the religious groups to hear that perspective. But I really enjoyed all of his presentations, so everybody should just go.
I wonder if some of it though is just not having a regular cadence. I will say, like when it's kind of a one-off, then I don't know how much notice they had, but I know there wasn't.
There wasn't much notice for this last one.
Yeah, and so like I think that makes a big difference. I thought the topic was super interesting, and I actually wish I could have gone for a
Yeah, it was
refresher, but it didn't work with my schedule.
It was a different day.
Okay, then it had been before.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
got-
usually Thursdays.
Got it.
Yes.
So that I will say, I think having like something where it's just held and people know to expect it, I think that helps a little bit.
Mhm. Maybe do a survey to the people who have ever signed in.
Yeah,
What are you interested in hearing? Would you come to this?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to give a moment, again, yeah, echoing Councilmember Murray, thank you. Anita, Teresa, and Scott who presented, and then Teresa and Hermit did a video, which is coming out live on the website. So thank you for all of your efforts and about the plan. And today I sent an email to almost 400 people that was in English and Spanish. Inviting them to stay to have the executive summary and the action plan translated into Spanish. And the survey is my email wasn't translated by a professional, so I'm hoping it's not too fair. But the word is out now, so that almost lots of people on their email list, and then Santa will be promoting it some more online. As of today, we had about 25 responses to the online survey.
Nice.
It's not bad. There are some mixed, it's supposed to be, yes. We kind of look at it every now and then, and my message today in the email is really try to focus on some of the misconceptions that people have in their comments on the survey, or that we're just things that were illegal, and giving certain people advantages over us, and that is absolutely what we're doing. So I just wanted to provide some clarity about what it is and what it isn't, and the most polite way. Okay. So we'll see how that pans out. But if there are any thoughts that you had, I just wanted to take a minute and pause and, it's a big document and we've been working on it for a long time, so just curious if there are any other thoughts or reflections.
Oh, I read the whole thing. I read the whole thing and made notes, and then the presentation was really good to be a part of. I'm glad that that worked out in my schedule.
I felt kind of bad that we were so late though, because I know by the time we actually were presenting, people would have checked out. There wasn't anybody sitting in the room, or very few sitting in the room listening, and I don't know how many people would have stood online to listen. And I feel like if this is about us being there for people in the city, yeah, I feel like maybe we should have been prioritizing it time wise. Because we're here to impact everybody in the city. So anyway, that's just my thought.
Is there any way we could set up posters for it?
I'm sorry, posters?
Yeah, is there any way we could set up posters on around the city with like contact information or just information in general about it?
Yes, I sort of was thinking about that as I was producing so many posters for. So thank you for that.
And then I was thinking, since we had the principal here, is maybe he'd send it out to the students, because they go to school in Mountlake Terrace.
I was gonna follow
Yeah.
up with all the things
Yeah.
I mentioned today with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teresa, I hear you, and I wanted to say too that the whole council meeting is on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, no, I know that.
And a lot of people, I would say most people watch it later. But we could refer people to the presentation in one of our social media posts and say what time.
I think that'd be.
Like, I
good.
think that we've been working on trying to edit the videos so that you can like jump to a certain topic, so.
I mean, it just sort of feels like, because it's not that uncommon for us to be pushed to the end. And it sort of, to me, makes it seem like we're less of a priority to the city. And I know that's not necessarily true, but I feel like if we're here for everybody in Mountlake Terrace, needs to be. Our work needs to have some level of priority. And so, anyway, that's just what's my feeling about it.
When all the commissions get their reports, it would be fun if it was like a lotto. Like a drawing out of a hat of which commission goes, the
Right.
order of presentation.
I just
presentations.
say that we found bigger is because Param has wanted to participate and it's during Ramadan. So he
Mhm.
can't eat until it's dark
Mhm.
and then he
Yeah.
doesn't want to go up and speak.
Yeah.
So,
No,
and that was
Yeah.
one of the reasons we pushed off later.
Yeah.
But I do hear you about.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how it looks to people on the outside.
Yeah.
Is my thought about
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, because we understand maybe all of those other, currents. Appetite and all those other things, but other people don't, and
Yeah.
so,
Thanks.
I mean, I was just thinking about what you said, some of the responses were, and it's like, it just, I think it's important that we don't sort of weirdly fade into the background somehow. Because that could happen.
Any other thoughts, concerns? So, we are gonna start talking about proclamations for, oh, that should say 20. No, this is 25. I wanted to confirm. Wanted to confirm that so. Orange Shirt Day,
Yeah.
every town matters, we just decided this, so moving forward,
Yes.
already on the draft agenda. And I guess the question is, are we also doing the American Heritage Month?
Could we have that, cause I think Merle was talking about maybe having that be. The presentation for Native American Heritage Month, or one of the girls was maybe saying that, but I mean, would it be possible to do that for this year's? Because we're introducing it sort of.
I think having the Orange Shirt Day proclamation and then having the event in November and inviting council without a specific proclamation about it would be okay. Are there other proclamations that we would do in November or December?
Another,
I think
Yes,
we
oh, I
should
see what
not
you're
do
saying.
another, a
Yes.
second proclamation.
right. Well, and when will our event happen, actually? If our event happens
In November,
in November anyway, then.
and an invitation to it without a specific proclamation.
Yeah,
Is December Disability Awareness Month? That's in July?
We did,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we did. August, July,
we did the disability side month in
August.
August.
yeah.
Okay. Is
So I don't think we
December Allyship Month? I forget. Okay.
There is some disability related
Okay.
month in December and we don't have anything else proposed. So, for this year.
Okay.
Okay, and then for next year. So these are things, the ones that I tell us are new or question mark. So.
I was gonna say, we've already talked about that, by that person.
And so just, we can talk about this again next week, to confirm it, but I wanted to give each one to like. Think about what we have going on. Again, the goal was to not overwhelm city council with
Mhm.
proclamations, but to focus on. One or two more. 12 or.
Oh, wow.
So you 12 to 15 a year, I guess would be.
Yeah. Ramadan is early.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was the amount we did this year about right? Was there any kind of a sense that it was too many this year?
I haven't heard we do that.
Okay,
No,
so sounds comfortable, I think, what we've done.
I think so. I mean, council requested only we, that wasn't on your original notice, but I added it to it.
I was gonna say that one looked new.
yeah,
That was a new one for us this past year, right?
That was so exciting to see our community come out, and there was, I didn't know that either, and now it was great. It's doing its job.
Any discussion about other proclamations or ones you wanna make sure?
I guess I'd like to throw out a potential italic placeholder for voter registration day for next year. But there's a lot of things happening, and highlighting the right to vote might be
yes.
something we want to pursue next.
When is
September 17th. It's today.
We are doing a
Today.
proclamation for Constitution Week for what it's worth this week. I didn't mention that, but I probably should.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But maybe we can combine those, because you voter, it's always National Voter
Yep.
Registration Day is always a part of National Constitution Week, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe we can broaden that. I don't think it's been under the DEI proclamations, but we have typically recognized it.
Just
any other ideas?
the city doesn't do a shakeout, like an emergency preparedness.
The county only, we do sort of the internal get under your desk thing and
Mhm.
kind of whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
On October 10th.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the county only does it every couple of years.
Mhm.
So we coordinate with the county on that because, but yeah, we haven't had a big community focus.
Yeah.
All right, well then think about that and we'll kind of inform each other next month. And I guess related to Orange Shirt Day and the original for next year.
Mhm.
It sounded to me like the group was more interested with, well, we didn't ask them either or,
Mhm.
but they definitely were interested if we were to do Orange Shirt Day, that we do it again.
Mhm.
And then I think in the past, we've tried to get people to come for the Native American Heritage Month, and I guess that is to
Mhm.
get people, so.
That brings people, because they were talking about, we have the people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
And maybe that would change in the future when we have more of a relationship, but.
yeah, I mean, they may come up with some of the things that I think would be.
Okay. Alright, let's see. Oops. Bring you back. Okay, so a little bit more on community master. One, we only have 2 applications so far, so we'll be pushing that. I have a weekly promotion plan with Sienna, but if you have any buttons to push, wheels to turn, feel free to keep talking to people. I think my question really was, do you want to review all the applications together, which means I have to send them to you before your meeting, next meeting in October? You'd have to review them before you got here and then discuss in that, or we want to interview at the meeting. Or we could have a committee, and that committee could do that homework and make a recommendation to the commission at the meeting. So,
I would vote for I would prefer we do the committee.
committee.
I think that'd be a good idea too.
Any feelings on that, Keo, Bria?
Yeah, I do agree. I think committee or
So that would be 3 or less. Alright,
I would also say committee. just
Okay.
so we would also have time to review other materials before our next meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, this is Priya. I agree as well.
all right. I would entertain nominations for the committee to review the applications.
Well, I nominate Anita.
Do you have to be present to be nominated?
That's a big part. We have to check with people. I have to see if they're willing to do a little extra work. So,
Priya, would you be interested?
This is Priya. Yeah, I would be actually. I'm happy to self-nominate. So from remotely self-nominate, I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
Pio, is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I would be.
Okay,
Okay.
we have our committee,
Yeah.
and I don't have to nominate Scott. I was going to.
Do to create a committee to review community ambassador applications, including Commissioners Francisco, Mayholden, and Peters.
I move that we so allow you to form a committee of, Priya and Benita to review applications for the community ambassadors.
That's like,
All in favor?
Yes.
I,
Aye. How about Kyo and Priya?
Yes, sounds good. So sorry, this is Priya. Just to clarify, so we'll get sent these then, and then Kyo and I would kind of be in conversation with each other to kind of move forward as
Benita.
far as. Oh, okay, right, okay.
So Carolyn will help us get organized.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank you. You answered my question. Love it. Thank you.
So if you would need to meet in person, or if you wanna do a Zoom call, I can set that up for you. Or whatever, however you wanna do that.
It makes,
I'll send an email.
Anybody opposed?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, the motion carries.
All right, so that's the first thing. I think it would be good to, I guess, with the committee, would you like the committee to do the interviewing? Or would you like all to be involved in the interviewing?
If we're all involved in the interviewing, would we have to break it up so it's not a quorum and we are not recording it? Seems like that wouldn't be fair to the applicants.
Well, then you should just go to committee structure. So, cause if you're all there, it'd be a vote.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
if I were nominating myself to be on a community ambassador program, I would prefer not having it be a public meeting.
Yes.
So I think it should stay in committee.
I also say committee just because since we'll be the ones choosing the applications, we'd be the ones coming up with questions, coming up with specific like opinions. And I feel like we'd just be I don't really know the exact word, but closer to the applications.
Okay.
It would be great, I think, to review proposed questions with our whole commission
Yes.
to make sure we're asking with a broader lens, but having a focus group do the interviewing.
Yeah.
So I'll send some dates around, or a doodle poll of sorts for you to choose interview dates.
Okay.
Yes, the selection criteria, that was the missing, so you can talk about this as a committee, then that would be fine. We have the selection criteria in the announcement, which is on the website. And it, there'd be easy questions to pull from that, and then maybe there's some personalized, like unique questions based on people's answers to their application. So we'll leave that up to you. So the committee will the interview questions. Interviews. And then make a final recommendation to the November meeting. Okay. And then onboarding. I think, it might be good to invite them to a meeting with commissioners. And we can all go through the community engagement training, which I have not yet developed yet, but based on our engagement plan. And sort of the city government 101, which you've all had, I think you've all had now, Priya and Keo, you went to a orientation with Jennifer, right? Or a city clerk.
Yes.
So I don't know, we could decide. Maybe there's a little part that starts early with just the ambassadors on the city 101 stuff, and then you all join for sort of the community engagement best practices. Not that you're not great at it, but just so you hear the same.
No, it's getting me so,
Yeah.
yeah, the same page.
Okay. And here we
Okay, so we're gonna do commissioner and chair reports. Yeah, would you like to get started? Do you have anything to report since the last meeting that you've been involved in?
Yes. First things first, I completely forget the date. Sorry, my head's been very foggy today, but Hiram and I went to a local bar off of Highway 99 to play music together. I think it was about 3 weeks ago ish. Um, for my school, I've started helping the ASB team, the student council team, plan out the the cultural assembly, which we have every October, yeah. And then I've also joined a active awareness club at the school, which is dealing with current events such as the war going on between Palestine and Israel and Ukraine and Russia.
Great. Priya, would you like to, do you have anything to report?
This is Priya. No, I do not have anything to report.
Okay. Okay.
I was able to be part of the video to along with the vice chair Courtney, and we did a video to help kind of promote the strategic plan and everything else, and we enjoyed doing it.
It was fun.
That's it.
Okay. I also joined Kermit with that, and he's the professional, so I follow his lead. I attended Cops and Clergy, which was about active shooter stuff. Was very interesting. I accepted the welcoming proclamation at the city council. I continued to volunteer at the food bank, and they had seen a big drop in their numbers of people coming to get food, but that is starting to rise. So hopefully people are getting a little bit more comfortable. And then I helped with the DEI strategic plan presentation at the city council. And Benita.
So I met with the Mountlake Terrace elementary staff right before school started to coordinate getting the principal and some staff here for Hispanic Heritage Month proclamation. On August 28th, I went to a Ways-In training, the Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network, that was based here in the community. I attended Cops and Clergy with Commissioner Courtney. On September 9th, I attended a meeting, Public School Strong. It's a nationwide program promoting public education and helping people across the country advocate for public school systems and funding and some of the efforts that are being made to combat decreases in federal funding. So that was really interesting. I went to the school board meeting, Terrace Talks. That was over at the police station, and that was a really great time to meet. So there were some people in the community who had some very specific questions and thoughts about things, but then to hear from our police folks about Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is in October, and then how the police officers handle domestic violence and DUIs or DIs, and keeping our community safe. The DEI strategic plan with Commissioner Matsudo and Courtney. And then Saturday, I went to a National Federation of Democratic Women, which was from political activists and leaders across the country were sharing some of their stories about advocating for community resources and activism for preserving human rights. It's National Voter Registration Week, so I was at the Goodwill on Saturday and yesterday to help register voters in Linwood. And then I've been part of a series of Constitution readings with the League of Women Voters. So we did one in Edmonds at the Edmonds Library on Sunday, the Everett Plaza outside of the courthouse on Monday, and then yesterday evening at the Edmonds School District office where Councilmember Murray read a portion of the Constitution. Yeah. So that's what I've done. I would like to point out there's another Constitution reading on Friday in Everett at the Girl Scout office starting at 6. There's another Ways in training for Know Your Rights on September 25th. And then October 4th is the Edmonds School District 5K. It's their 17th annual Monster Mad Dash.
Oh.
And that will be here in Mountlake Terrace at Lake Ballinger area. So there's a 5K course. So everything's coming to Terrace. So it's an awesome place to be. But it does help fund the Nourishing Network program, which feeds district kids across weekend meal kits, along with a variety of other programs and resources that the district gets funding from. So
So you had the Girl Scout office reading.
Ways in
Wait,
Know Your Rights training, which is it's talking about if you're served with a warrant, like what you're allowed to ask, because can be a stressful situation and people have rights. And September 25th, and it is online, and you can register through the Ways In website. And then don't forget to vote. I mean, we'll meet before then, but during your week of no driving includes election day.
No.
It does, November 4th.
Oh, no, it's the end of this month.
Oh, I wrote down October 29th.
So I could have said.
I wrote down
So
wrong.
yeah.
Okay, good.
November.
Okay.
Yes.
You did the dates right because I'm not gonna be in town, so I have to drive.
I would like, but luckily I live walking distance to the ballot box.
Yes.
So.
You know.
So there will be an accessible voting site at the Edmonds College by the county, which is on a bus line,
And it's a lot closer than it's to.
but it's in the very far back of the campus.
That's yeah.
But it's on a bus line because Homage moved. That's where it was before.
All right.
So
And staff report. Okay.
you've been busy.
Okay. And anybody have any new business? No? All right, then I think we can adjourn the meeting and everybody.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh.
Right, thanks Priya and Keo for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you. Feel better.
Hope you
Yeah.
feel better.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.